Right, hello everybody, and welcome back to 40 Runs Running Club TV and our episodes of Beneath the Bib, where literally we go beneath the bib with a runner from our community. And this week we have an extra special one for you because we have not only is she our Northampton satellite lead, is the queen of 40 Runs and an OG because she's been here from the very, very start. And we want to go beneath the bib and hear all about the absolute awesome Louise East. Louise, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
I am very, very good. I'm excited to have a little chat with you because I think as well, there's a lot of people in the community. A lot of people know who you are. You're the bubbly Lou, the bubbly Louise that we see all the time and know you. But do we really know you? We know you're a run director, which is fantastic. We know you're the Northampton satellite leader, which is awesome. What else are we going to find out about you tonight? We want to hear all about you. Usually we start off diving straight in and hearing about young years and how you was brought up and where you was brought up. But because I know a little bit about your backstory, we're not going to start there this time. We're going to work our way into that. We're going to go right in, no messing about. Louise, tell us, how did you find 40 Runs?
How did I find 40 Runs? So this is back in 2018. And I hadn't long started running. We've been doing an inflatable run at work for the department I work in. And so we were like,
sorry to interrupt you. Sorry, an inflatable run. You can't just say that and run away. What is an inflatable run? Let us know. What is an inflatable run?
So imagine a load of teachers jumping on bouncy castles, basically, and running sort of, I don't know, like a kilometre between each one. Right. And we were all like massively unfit. Like none of us did any exercise or anything at all. Yeah, it was something, I tell you.
Right. I've got the picture in my head. Sorry, I've got the picture in my head, but I can't carry on. Sorry, carry on.
Oh, it was hilarious. And we were like training, you know. And I can remember like our first run was like a mile around the lake outside work. And I didn't have any running gear. I literally wore like one of my husband, Rob, one of his tops with like some tracky bottoms, and that was it. And it was horrible. Anyway, somehow that prompted me to get into running. So it went from there really. And then I did like my first park run. And I can remember it was just before that, I was in London with Rob the day before the London Marathon. And I said to him, you know, feeling like, oh, I'm a runner now, I can run 2 miles or what have you. And I said, I'd love to do the London Marathon. And he was like, I mean, I think people who know my husband will know he just says what he's thinking. He has no filter. And he basically said, you couldn't run a marathon. And I said, I bet I could if I trained. You couldn't run a marathon even if you trained. No, that wouldn't happen. You couldn't run a marathon. So I thought, right, okay. So from there, I signed up for the British 10K. What was the British 10K? I think it's like the Saucony one now, in July. Didn't have any idea what I was doing. Everyone was like, you can't run a 5K yet without walking. So what are you doing? And I was like, it's fine. And I posted on, I was just like looking on YouTube at the course, and I saw a video that Chris had posted, Chris Ford. And I just commented like, oh, I'm doing this, or, you know, something like, I can't even remember if it was that one, but like a video. And he commented like, oh, join our running community and all of that. So I did. So 2018, sort of July 2018, I joined this community. And it was, I think for me at the time, it was nice joining a community because obviously the club didn't exist then. It was just the community. And so I think I was a bit like nervous of joining a running club because I was like, I'm not a runner. But yeah, it's just gone from there really, and I've never looked back. I love it.
Honestly, eight years ago we're talking now, so you really are an OG. He's been there from the start, basically. So that's absolutely fantastic. But tell us how did the Northampton satellite come about then? What made you sort of like want to get involved and start that up?
So there were a few of us Fordies in Northampton. And I mean, the original sort of Northampton satellite leader, Tanya, she did it for probably about 6 months a year. And she'd put a post out on Facebook just saying, there's a few 40 runners in Northampton. So, you know, we're thinking like getting a satellite group going. And again, it was those very early days of the satellite groups. So I knew a few sort of other 40 runners from Parkrun. So I was like, absolutely, I am there. And I think it was that funny time when we were sort of in between lockdowns. So it was kind of like we were in lockdown, but we weren't. So we started off with just sort of 6 of us, and we all had to keep our 2 meters distance apart, or what, all of that. But then, we just, I suppose it just sort of started off as a little, let's see who's there. And then it's just grown from there, really. And at the heart of it, we're still that social little group, and we have a laugh, and, the banter is off the scale. And it's just lovely because it's everything that I love about FORDY Runs, like on my doorstep. And it's great. I love it.
Amazing, absolutely fantastic. So we know how you found FORDY Runs. We know what you do in the Northampton satellite. We actually know now already in the first few minutes how you got into running. It's from basically a bouncy castle. So that's fantastic. So let's rewind back now. Let's find out a little bit more about you and a younger Louise, where you grew up, how life was for you, going to school, growing up until like your later teenage years. Tell us a bit about Louise and where she grew up and stuff.
So I grew up in Taunton in Somerset.
Lovely.
Was born in Exeter, lived in a little village outside Tiverton for sort of till I was about 2.5. Then we moved to Taunton. And I mean, my childhood, some people know a bit about my childhood. It wasn't, there was a lot to deal with. And there were a lot of like really rubbish times growing up. And I think school for me was my kind of stability. And it was, I suppose that's why I'm a teacher, really, because education for me has always been my stability in like a massively chaotic life, really. And it's, I mean, I think when it got to, I mean, I don't know, there wasn't anything on paper that I'd say massively stood out as the worst time, or there was just a lot of bad times growing up. And then when I got to sort of being in my teenage years, like things just ramped up. I don't even know why. I don't even know how. Like it's all just a bit of a mishmash. And I had like, I suppose, a breakdown and stuff like that, and things just made things a lot worse. And I was under social services, and then like the decision was made, obviously, like to live somewhere else, go like, live with a different family or what have you.
What age? What age are we talking about at the moment?
Oh God, like 15.
Wow.
40, 15. Okay. It was,
yeah,
it was just horrible. And I think for me that rejection, I don't know, I suppose it's like that feeling of I'm not good enough to be part of my own family is something that's just never left me, really. And I think it's, it's been a bit of a, I don't know, it's I think this is why FORDY Runs is so important to me, because it is that family sort of feeling. But I mean, I suppose like being in the care system, I don't know what experience people have got, but like everyone's like, oh, it's like Tracy Beaker, but it's not. Like, it's really,
I doubt very much it is.
Like the two could not be more different. And I think it's just that feeling of, because I was really struggling to find somewhere, or my social worker was really struggling to find somewhere. And things would pop up and they'd fall through, and then like, oh, so and so you can go and live here, but then like you can't, and that would fall through. And I mean, there were some days where I'd literally like get up in the morning and not know where I was going to go to bed, and it was just like really unsettling. And I mean, I wasn't in care for very long, but long enough for that damage to be done. And I think because it was on top of everything else, it wasn't just like life was great and then all of a sudden this happened. It was kind of like a build up. So there was a lot of trauma and a lot of damage happening from sort of quite a young age. But I suppose I just thought, I didn't see it as anyone else. I saw it as like, I'm the one who's gone wrong here, and I'm the one who's messed up. I'm the problem. I'm, you know, the one who's I don't know, not right really. There's something wrong with me. And
this is all at the age of bloody 15 years old as well.
Yeah, sort of. I think that period between 14, 15, 16, yeah, those 3 years were just horrific. Like, yeah, and you're trying to navigate sort of being a teenager as it is, and
that's what I was going to say, hormonally as well, whether you're male or female, them sort of years, yeah, you've got so much going on anyway, trying to navigate life, let alone being thrown a curveball and having more barriers put in your way. But
yeah,
we've been in care, bloody hell.
It was and I mean, I ended up with my friend, and on paper it should have been like a nice, you know, sleepover every night and stuff, but the reality is very different, because I think you're always feeling that you're not enough. And I mean, even like sort of staying with my friends and stuff in the end, and like I sort of stayed with, you know, my auntie in London for a bit, and then, you know, but I can remember, and it's always stayed with me, this sounds really, really stupid, I really struggle sitting in the back of a car, because one, I get travel sick, but you know, but two, I can remember sitting in the back of my social worker's car, like literally driving around Taunton. I didn't know where I was going. I don't think my social worker knew where I was going. And just being like, I don't know what's going on. And we literally were just driving around Taunton basically until they could find me somewhere. And like, I can't really sit in the back of cars very well now. Just, you know, there's just little things like that, really.
I honestly, I totally get it. And the image you're almost portraying, I suppose in the back of my mind, I must have seen maybe a film or an ITV series, or there's something. Now you said it, it really resonates. And I do sort of have that image in my head of social workers, and they've got people, young children that are scared, vulnerable, don't know what's going on in life, and being driven around to people's houses. Can you say, yeah, God, that is, it's almost like something maybe I thought, maybe because it is in a film and a series, this sort of shit doesn't happen really, but
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it hits in places that you don't even know it can hit, and it causes, you know, I mean, I've got complex PTSD.
Is that directly, is that directly from, you think, this experience at this part of your life?
I think all of it, all just growing up. I think from sort of a very young age, sort of maybe like, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe, right up to, I don't know, I suppose, when did I start therapy? I think I started therapy just before my 30th birthday. Yeah, because I've been in therapy about 7 years now. And I think the PTSD, I don't know when it started really. I had a massive, I keep having, hopefully not anymore, but I've had this like recurring pattern of being okay and then having a breakdown, being okay, having a breakdown, you know, and that was happening more and more and more. And I think it got to the point where I was like, I'm going to have to do something. And I think it was that breaking that mold. I mean, lockdown helps, not going back to Somerset, to be fair, but I just started therapy at the same time. And it was the first time that someone had said to me, they said, tell me about your childhood. And I was like, oh God, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And then I was like, I was a really bad person. I did this wrong. I did that wrong. And then once that can of worms had been opened, I can remember my therapist sort of said to me, okay, so where's the bit that's your fault? And I was like, well, all of that. And once that can of worms had been opened, and I was sort of saying to her, well, this has happened, that's happened, I get this, I get that. And then she sort of said, because one of the things that happens is nightmares. And I was like, well, I'm not telling her that, because that's what little kids get, you know, kids have nightmares. And basically she said, this sounds very much like PTSD. And I was like, it's not PTSD, because that's what war veterans get in emergency services. You don't just get someone who, like me, like, because this is the thing. I suppose it was so normal for me. Like, that was my life. I didn't know any different. So for me, I almost felt like it wasn't warranting having PTSD, if that makes sense. But then it took like her and like it took 2 therapists to sort of convince me that actually my childhood wasn't normal. That's not what everyone has going on. And yeah, I think things made sense. And when I sort of looked into it, and I was like, oh God, maybe this is PTSD. And I've sort of accepted it is what it is now. I mean, I've been in therapy for, like I say, 7 years. I've got an amazing therapist. I've been with her for sort of 5 years. She massively takes one for the team. Like, she knows absolutely all my deepest, darkest secrets, but she also knows like what night I play netball. She knows a hell of a lot about 40 runners. She's just like my surrogate mum, really. She's absolutely lush. But I still obviously have therapy with her. I'm on the maximum dose of my medication. I probably always will be. I mean, there's not one day that goes by where I'm not having these flashbacks and these nightmares. And like, it just causes me a lot of grief every day. But I suppose there's always been that kind of, I don't know, I suppose like the same with the marathon, like the desire to prove people wrong, because on paper, like statistically or what have you, the outcomes aren't great for people like me. And it's sort of like, you know, I should be homeless or on drugs or you know, and I suppose I just didn't want, I don't know, there's just something that in me that I've always just thought, like, not getting through this or not dealing with it, it just isn't an option.
And again, that's got to be absolute testament to yourself as a character in your person, your mindset. No, absolutely, you laugh about it. These are things that are just, they're just inbuilt with you. Some people, as you said, that they really struggle to deal with it, and the easier way out is to go down like the path, like you said, where you just you always give up and you just let happen what happens. But clearly, you haven't, and you fought it, and that acceptance that you need help, that you need therapy, and that's obviously working because you are where you are today. And you look back, you've almost diagnosed exactly what's happened. And that's absolute testament to yourself. That's something you need to be absolutely proud of. Absolutely. Shout from the roofs. It's fantastic. And it's great that you're so able to come on here and talk openly about, you know, people see us. I started the interview off saying that you are the bubbly Louise that everyone loves and everyone thinks Louise is absolutely cool, and that people don't realise what people have been through and the impact things have had on people's lives. And the care system obviously has had a massive impact on your life all round. And if if there's people here at the moment and they have nieces, nephews, younger brothers and sisters, and they're worried about it, you know, hopefully they'll have some reassurance listening to what you're saying now, to be where you are now.
And I have to say, like, I think going to therapy, because I didn't have a great experience when I was younger with it. It was, I suppose, very much like, I don't know, you're there to be fixed or what have you. But I think coming to it as an adult, I was terrified. And I can remember my first session, it took my best friend Heidi, like, she was like, come on, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And I was like, oh God, I was terrified. And I can remember I sat in my car for like ages before my appointment, like umming and ahhing. But it is the best thing I've ever done. And I think it's the hardest thing that you'll ever do, but it's like, I just think more people should feel okay going to therapy. Like I say, I absolutely adore my therapist. She is amazing. And I think the more people that can go, like, if you need that help, like, there is no shame in it. And I think I've come to realize that like there literally is nothing that I tell my therapist that is too shocking or too horrific or too shameful or embarrassing or anything like that. Like, and just getting it out of my system, sort of when I have my sessions, it just really, really helps. And it's just, you feel like a human and you feel like you're valid and someone's got your back and stuff like that. And I think it can be scary, but it's so worth it.
You talked about almost like being fixed. So would you say that almost the reverse of that, the opposite is you're being fixed because you was actually broken, whether that be mentally, physically, or in some form? It feels like you were broken, and this is the repair at the moment.
Yeah, and it's like, I think what it does is it almost teaches me. I mean, I think unfortunately there was so much damage done at such a young age that it's just who I am now. It's just, you know, wired in there, I suppose. But what happens is, I mean, I had my counselling, and what I have now is like I suppose it's like sort of trying to rewire your brain almost and stuff like that. So whereas before the flashbacks would absolutely floor me and I would end up in my best friend's office. I mean, luckily I've got some really, really lovely friends at work, my best mates at work. But I'd end up in my friend's office just having an absolute meltdown, just crying my eyes out and just like, I can't do this. Whereas now I would hope that 99% of the time people don't realize that I'm having a flashback. I mean, I've certainly had them, you know, on extreme park runs, or, you know, like they just happen. And it's, I think I've learned how to deal with it, but accept that I'm probably always going to have the PTSD. It's probably always going to be there, but actually it doesn't define me. It's just something I live with. So like, you know, people with physical conditions, it doesn't define them. It's just something that they live with, and it's something that they manage.
It's also, I think acceptance as well. This is not me speaking as an expert. I'm not a therapist, and I've been lucky enough that I haven't been in some of the situations that you've been in. But I feel as though acceptance is a big factor of being fixed, if you want to call it fixed as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just allowing myself as well. And I think this is where the community for me is my absolute rock, is allowing myself to sort of open up a bit to people and to kind of, I suppose, not hide it and not be like, you know, oh, everything's fine, because it, you know, it is. But I mean, the community for me have taught me what unconditional acceptance of like me as a person looks like, and sort of, it's suddenly I've got those people around me who take me as I am, whether I'm having a good time, whether I'm having a bad time. I mean, I think there's been some key moments, like when I did have this breakdown, and I think the last one I had was sort of back in 2021. I was off work for like a month, and within 2 days of having this breakdown, lovely Miles was up here taking me for a Costa. We just talked it out, and I was just like, I'm done, Miles. And he was absolutely lush. And Sarah as well, my absolute rock, like amazing. Sheila, another one, Sheila Hopcraft. I can remember I did the Great South Run and I was in a really bad place. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, you know. And she said to me, right, come and run with me. I'm injured, so we'll do it together. And we ran the first 3 miles. We walked a mile, ran a mile, walked a mile, ran a mile, and we just talked, and that was amazing.
That's Sheila. That's Sheila. That's Sheila all over. And don't get me wrong, Miles and Sarah, absolutely. These are people. These are names that we brand about and talk about people.
Yeah.
I don't think they even realise themselves the things that they do, the impacts they have on other people's lives.
Absolutely.
And this is within our community. It's huge. Like Sheila, I've seen Sheila do it so many occasions. Oh, I'll run with you. I'll help you out. It's just the person she is, and the effect. And people like this need to know. And this is why it's fantastic to have these interviews, because hopefully these people listen, they might think to themselves, you know what, I contributed to Louise, you know, feeling better about herself.
Absolutely. And I mean, that run, that Great South Run, it's one of my favorite runs I've ever done, and it could have been so different because I was in such a bad place. Yeah, it was amazing. And I think the other big one that stands out for me is Harp 24. When we last did it. And I don't go down to Somerset unless I absolutely have to. And I mean, like, literally have to. And unfortunately, that weekend was one of these times when I absolutely had to. And I was determined. I knew that I couldn't stay over in Somerset. That was not happening. So I drove down in the morning from Northampton to Somerset, spent a couple of hours there. And then I was like, I am going to Harp. Like, it's just happening. I'm going. Because I knew if I went home, that was going to be a really stupid idea, you know. So drove from Somerset to Southend, like cried all the way. And then I can remember just getting to Harp. Again, Sarah and Miles met me at the car. I was an absolute mess. Mel Howes was like, right, sit down. You're having something to eat. Here's a hot dog. Miles and Sarah and everyone else put my tent up for me. And it was just that sort of, that love and that care and that, like, just acceptance just meant the absolute world. And I went from being in a horrendous place to suddenly there I am with Stella, Jill, Keen, and me going out, and like this community is just something that like it's just amazing. I don't think people realize how amazing they are.
It's quite interesting. So we talk to people on Beneath the Bib, and a lot of them find solitude, a lot of them find like relief in the running. The community comes alongside that, which is fantastic. But just talking from you, I feel as though the running, obviously it helps you with things, with your mindset, but it feels to me like the community is the driver, more so than opposed to the running, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it is that I can be me, warts and all. And I mean, even like the Northampton satellite, there's times where like so we meet on a Sunday morning, and there's times where I've been awake after night because I've had a really bad nightmare and it's, you know, churning over in my mind, and I'll just say, I just want to walk. And they're like, okay. Or like, I just can't do it today, guys. And they're like, it's fine, you know, and it is that community, and it's just amazing. Like, yeah, it showed me the best in people, really.
Brilliant. Obviously it's fantastic to hear. Let's circle back now. So happier times. So your husband's telling you you can't run a marathon. Yeah. So what do you do then? Well, if someone tells you how, what do you do?
Marathon. I might have run a London Marathon. I'm sure a few people have heard me mention it once or twice.
and how was that? Tell us about your London Marathon experience. How was that?
It was the best day. It was up there with my wedding day. I mean,
that'll teach him.
Exactly.
Now it's up there with wedding day.
It was incredible. It was a long time coming because I got the FORDY ballot place to do London in 2019 for the 2020 marathon. We obviously know why that didn't happen. So actually, by the time I ran, it was April 2023. And it was just the best day. I had an absolute blast. I think from start to finish, seeing everyone sort of at the baggage lorries and stuff like that, and saying hello and you know, hugs all round and stuff. And then I think from the minute I started running to the minute across that finish line, I was just like absolutely buzzing. And I think having been on the other side of the cheer station for so many years, and then all of a sudden I'm on the other side of the barriers, and it was just like it was amazing. It was the best feeling. Yeah, and I needed it at that point. I was just like, oh, I'm flagging, guys, but I just loved it. I loved every second.
Brilliant. Absolutely love it. It's fantastic. And it's amazing to hear people that think that, as you said, you started off at a teacher's event, you could run a mile, you wasn't sure about doing a 10K, and then before we know it, you're running the bloody London Marathon. So it's absolutely fantastic to hear. So let's talk a little bit about what's upcoming for you. What we've got planned for the future wise? What are we looking at race wise? You got any marathons planned or anything?
I will do another marathon. I'm sure I'll do another marathon.
You've heard it here exclusively on 40 Runs Running Club TV.
I mean, the problem I've got, unfortunately, is a lot of the majors are in term time. Yeah. So because I can't take the Monday off, that limits me a little bit. But I'd like to do Edinburgh one day because I absolutely adore Edinburgh, and I've done the half. I'm doing the half again this year. Yeah, I am tempted by the
I think doesn't the full Edinburgh, isn't that worked around bank holiday weekend normally? So you get Monday off anyway.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That works out really well. It's the start of May half term.
Brilliant.
So yeah, got that nice bank holiday, which is lush. Yeah, I mean, I would love to do London again one day, but it's just a case of obviously getting in. But yeah, it's just there. I think I've got another one in me. I'm doing landmarks and, you know, as well, sort of this year. And then I suppose just for me, I just love those extreme park runs. I can't get enough of them.
That's what I was going to come on. As I'm going to come on to next, because we're going to talk a little bit about Parkrun to finish up this interview, because you are a huge Parkrun advocate, and obviously you are a run director. You're a run director. Tell us what Parkrun you're a run director at, and is it the best Parkrun in the UK?
It is the best parkrun in the UK, particularly for Sam Kirchin, who thinks that Northampton is the best parkrun. No, Sitchfield Upton's where it's at, mate. He knows it. Yeah, it's lovely. I love our parkrun. Again, I've got loads of friends down there, some 40 runners, and like Sharon I'll see her down there quite a lot, and you know, we'll rip it out of Rob because you know, that's what we do. Oh, park runs for me are just like they're the best thing ever. And even like going down for Nen's 50th and stuff like that, like I love it. I absolutely love the atmosphere. I love the people. I just love everything about it. I've actually signed my TA up today for Parkrun. So
you're recruiting as well, proper run director here, recruiting people as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And again, I think the run directing, that was something they said to me, you're going to be run director then. And I was like, absolutely not. No way. But again, that's just made me feel so much more confident. And standing up there and doing a run brief in front of 300 people, like, puts the fear of God into me.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. But I think people kind of know who I am. They know I'm going to mess around a bit. And
again, we go back to what I said earlier on. This is testament to you, the fact that you now have gone from where you were and what you was doing to be able to be a run director, giving a talk to 300 people and having that confidence to do that. It's amazing. It's fantastic to see. I can see from the smile on your face and you're beaming. It makes yourself feel proud as well. And you should be.
Yeah, it does. I absolutely love it. And it's always like, I'll always say to Rob afterwards, like, oh, how was that? Was it okay? And he'll always be like, oh, gosh, you didn't have to go on, you know, sort of thing. But we do have a laugh. Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. Honestly, Louise, you are a massive member of this community for loads of reasons. And the reasons we've just heard now on Beneath the Bib make people realise just how much a special person you are and how much you give back to the community as well. And honestly, it's fantastic. We haven't got enough time to start talking about Costa Coffee because you're just going to bore the hell out of us about how it's the best coffee place in the world, etc., etc. Just tell us quickly, how many coffees do you have a day, Costa's?
Oh God, probably 5 or 6.
And what do you have? What coffee do you have?
Black with an extra shot.
Black with an extra shot. That you are literally hardcore. This is why you're so lively and bubbly all the time. You're high on caffeine.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Honestly, it's been absolutely fantastic having you on Beneath the Bib. Really appreciate you giving up your time and being so open and honest about some of the challenges you faced. And hopefully members of the community have learned a little bit more about our Louise today. So thanks so much for coming on. It's really appreciated. So there you go. That was Louise East, our satellite leader at Northampton, a parkrun director and all things 40 runs, the epitome of 40 runs. Absolutely. Don't forget to join us next week where we will go beneath the bib once again with another member of our community and find out a little bit extra about what they do and what they're up to. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you all very soon. We'll see you later.